Impressive.
It's 7 in the morning, and my alarm sings its song. I wish I could have slept more, it didn't feel all that long. I stretch and creak, my body tired from the week, but this weekend's plans make it all worthwhile. Heading out for the weekend, fresh air, clear my head. I'm not always the outdoors type, I've been a city boy all my life, spending all my time inside like I'm stuck in a cage. But now I've learned how to unwind and tame all my rage. But indoors or out, wherever I go in life, I need to have the right knife. With my Avian knife, I've got all that I need. It's slim, it's light, but tough on its feet. Ready to cut, hack, and slice light and strong. And the light and fast snatching feels nice. Tough as nails, light as a feather. It's easy to carry every day, no matter whether I'm in the office staring out the window, or outside enjoying that sunny weather. With my Avian Knives Atlas, I'm taking no chances. It may be small, but it's proven to kick asses.
Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back to the channel once again. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I want to share with you something extremely special. One that's going to take us back a couple of years, because if you remember, about 2 years ago, I had the wonderful pleasure of debuting Avian Knives to the world and their first offering, the original Atlas, which is this knife right here that I still have, I still carry, and I still love. It was a crazy cool knife that was bringing something unique and fun to the market. It was lightweight, yet robust, made for EDC use, and it could be broken down and reassembled without any tools whatsoever. It's assembled more like a jigsaw puzzle. And if you go back and watch that original review, I thoroughly broke down exactly how it came apart, how it went back together, and all of the unique features of this particular knife. But today, we're going to take a look at the v2.5 and see where they've improved on this design. Now, a little bit of background. They are designed in the United States, but they're made in Thailand. Why Thailand? Because the owner of Avian Knives lives in Thailand, and he wants to be able to constantly oversee production. He's not going to trust his baby, his project, to just some project manager that lives in a factory overseas somewhere. He wants to maintain control of everything and walk through the factory and look for himself to see how things are running. Everything is in-house, from the cutting of the parts, the hand assembly, and the hand grinding of the blades. You're buying a true semi-custom, not a production knife. So keep that in mind when you start factoring in how much this costs, which is $750. And before you guys start clutching your pearls,
oh my God, $750.
Remember again what I just said. This knife inside of this case is a hand-built, hand-finished semi-custom. Here's a production knife that's going to sell for about $1,000 more than that semi-custom. You want to see a semi-custom? Okay. Here's a comparison to a semi-custom. This is about $2,500. And even crazier, getting into full custom. Here's a full custom that's going to end up trading somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000 when it makes its way out into the secondary market. So yeah, of course, knives can get to be pretty pricey. And the owner really wants to take the idea of being able to own a semi-custom collector's grade knife and offer it at a value. And that is precisely what he has done with Avian Knives in general, and of course specifically with the Atlases. Here's what you'll be getting inside. You'll be getting a thank you card with contact information for Avian, and you're going to get a COA card describing everything that you need to know. This is your Atlas v2.5, uses RWL34 steel. You have the brand spanking new Arcrom X proprietary finish, which we will be discussing. It will have your build date, and then it will have the knife maker's certification. And again, going back to the fact that this is a semi-custom, they're machining the parts as if they're making a production knife. So this component right here, you know, they're going to make 1,000 of those at a time. The pivot, they're going to make 1,000 of those at a time. The backside lock side scale, they're going to make 1,000 of those at a time. The back spine hood, they'll make 1,000 of those at a time. And then all those are going to go over, they're going to be refined, and everything's going to be hand fitted by a knife maker, not some random employee that works in a factory setting, but an actual knife maker. That lock is going to be set by a knife maker. The action will be tuned by a knife maker. And all of the blades are hand ground by a knife maker. So that slows down the process greatly. If you just made this as a production knife, sure, you could sell it for a little bit less because you'd have way less time involved in each individual knife. Now, I am a huge fan of this new finish. I love the look. I've always liked the original, but I like this two-tone look with the dark, dark, dark charcoal against the matte gray. I think it is a handsome, handsome look. So overall, some of the changes that you'll notice on this, and there's not a lot, but but there are things that are slightly upgraded. Like again, let's go back to this finish. Let's talk about the Arcrom X finish. It's a brand new proprietary finish. You're also going to be getting a little bit of an advanced design of the ADT, which is what they call the Avian Disassembly technology, which I will demonstrate for you again in this video. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to break down the knife. No tools required. There are no screws anywhere in this knife. No threading, no screws, nothing. It's pretty damn amazing. But I'm going to be honest with you. As cool of a feature as it is, I'm not the kind of person that tears down my knives to the bare components. If my knife ever gets so bad that I've got to thoroughly clean it out, I'm not doing that either. I have other ways to do it that I don't need to do that. So it has been over 2 years since I've disassembled my Avian. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film a separate little section of me doing the disassembly and reassembly on this, because I know I'm going to screw up a couple of times. And then I'm going to edit it all together into this video so that it's seamless for you and you can follow along and do it yourself when you get your knife. Come on now, it's got a late detent. Drop in there. The entire design is set up like a full custom knife. The tolerances are ridiculously tight. And since there are no screws in any part of this knife that would normally compensate for slight misalignments here and there, these tolerances are all achieved by the precise design and machining of each and every component that locks together. And that's the key. No cheating by adjusting a screw here and adjusting a screw here and getting things to line up properly. It's all precise fit when it's all wedged back together. Now, just like the original, this one once again weighs only 2.7 ounces. So it's a featherweight in the pocket, which follows the brand's identity. The Avian name was inspired by the hollow bones inside of a bird's body that are extremely lightweight, yet still very strong for their size. Their whole idea was, let's create something that's so lightweight that you don't even feel it in your pocket, but you can rely on it, like the legendary Sebenza. It's going to be tough. It's going to have a blade shape that's going to be great for every type of cutting task. It's going to be slicey. And boy, let me tell you, that hollow ground blade, oh, it is very, very slicey. Now, some detail on the Arcrom X finishing. While that sounds kind of like a planet-sized transformer, it's just a fancy name for a proprietary hardened finish that further protects the titanium underneath. And by the way, not only is it doing that, but it's adding grip. There is I can't call it a texture because it is not textured. It is completely smooth, but it almost has like this chalky yet sticky feeling to the top finish. And that gives you a little bit of added grip that you don't have on the standard bead blasted original Atlas. So if you love titanium frame locks, but think, oh man, they're usually pretty slick. I want something that has like a micarta inlay or a G10 inlay with some textures so that it's grippier. You don't have to worry about that, because this finish does it all. Now, the added hardness in this finish resists scratching nearly to the point of ceramic, and that means, guess what? The knife is gonna look new for longer, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, let's talk specs really quick. I'm gonna get this over here out of the way. Make room on the screen. We're looking at an overall length of 7.36 inches, blade length of 3.15 inches, blade thickness 130 thou, and that blade material once again is RWL34, which is made by Damasteel. It is a high-tech, super clean stainless steel. It is fan-friggin-tastic for an EDC knife. It takes a ridiculously fine edge. It's got great hardness and toughness properties, so you don't have to worry about chipping the edge out, rolling the edge, chipping the tip, because this is the tip gets down pretty thin. So you don't have that much of a concern there because of the nature of the steel when it's hardened properly, which they do their own in-house heat treating at Avian. And that finish is done in a beautiful, fine bead blasted finish all the way around. Your titanium frame lock is carbonized, so you won't have any lock stick. It's not going to be susceptible to ridiculous wear up against that steel lock face. And your pivot is a unique pivot where it has both bearings and washers. Why is that? The washers are there for two reasons. Number one, because again, there are no screws in this knife, not even in the pivot. That's not a screw. That is just simply a pivot. So there's no way to adjust to make sure everything is in 100% perfect alignment with these tight tolerances. So number one, you have these very thin washers that are used basically as shims underneath the bearings up against the titanium. And the secondary purpose is that it reduces friction. So number one, it's going to make the action, oh my God, gloriously smooth. But also, it's going to prevent the bearings from wearing a rut into the pocket of the titanium. Because keep in mind, titanium is very soft on its surface. So whether you're using steel bearings, ceramic bearings, doesn't matter, you can wear a track into the titanium. And that's not good for the overall lifespan of your knife. So in your packaging, you're also going to receive some additional very thin shim washers. So if at any point during your ownership, it won't quite fit the way you want it to, you can make your own adjustments. But you don't really have to worry about that because the ADT system self-centers the blade when you tighten everything back up. And your first step, by the way, is the same as your last, which is prying that lever open. And once that is pushed back in, that pulls everything together and it self-centers the blade every time. It is an ingenious system. And I guess I should probably stop talking about how great the system is and actually show it to you. All right, I'm going to try to do this all in one shot. Let's see if my memory still serves me from all the times that I've disassembled and reassembled the original. Take two. I forgot this part had to go up first. That's one difference. That pin no longer comes out of the frame like it does on this one, so you won't lose that tiny little bugger. That was a huge deal for early adopters of this knife because they couldn't get the knife apart without dropping that somewhere and then losing it. And same goes for the post on the back. That is also held captive. So here you can see your washer that's protecting the titanium from the bearings. There'll be another washer behind that one. And yep, these are all ceramic bearings. Here's your internal blade stop. I gotta tell you, they did a fantastic job as always. And man, it was really tough to get that apart. So again, the tolerances being what they are, you can't have this at any angle whatsoever and get it off of that post. So I'm gonna assume it's the same way for getting it back on. It's gonna have to be pretty level. Okay, so that's that. Oh, forgot one very important. Boy, that thing will stay together without anything locking it. That's how tight those posts are in there. That's crazy. Well, I tell you what, you are going to be surprised at how tightly everything fits. It is no exaggeration when they say that they have the tightest tolerances imaginable. That is crazy. Nothing can be misaligned at any angle when you're trying to take the components apart or put them back together. Snap, snap. Okay, now, there she is. Okay, now it's time for the pocket clip. So that's got to run through here while this locking tab, there we go, gets locked in place. Did it go in the front or go in the back? I think it goes in the other way. So you've got a recessed area for the pocket clip so it can't move. And then you've got that little pin right there. Actually, it looks more like a detent ball that further holds it in place. So we want to line up the shape of the end to that, which is pretty much up and down. That is through, and now we tighten it back down. And our blade is centered again. Has the same action that it had before. And I gotta say, I'm fairly proud of myself. I only goofed up 3 times, which hopefully I'm a clever editor and you didn't even see where it happened. Woo! I'm not. But yeah, so the tricks to this one, I thought this one was well made. And of course I still do, I still like it. This one is so much friggin' tighter. So a couple of notes for those of you that already own an Atlas, if you're looking at upgrading to the v2.5. It's going to be a little bit harder to get certain things out because everything is tighter. That sleeve that locks the pivot in is significantly harder to get out, as well as to get back into place. Be prepared to be frustrated. And what other component? Oh, the fact that the frame, you've got the pin back here and the pin up here. Everything is so perfectly aligned the way that those pins are machined that if you have any angle on any of those components, they're not going to come apart. They have to be perfectly aligned, straight apart, and then straight back together. And you'll hear a snap. That'll snap together, that'll snap together, and then you can go ahead and put the rest of it together. So yeah, as much as I thought I knew about this knife, it still surprised me all this time later. Now, the only complaint I have about this knife, let's make it 2 complaints because I just spent, a whole minute trying to tell you what you have to do to overcome how tight these parts are. So the first thing is the parts that you need as a user to take apart, they are a little bit more difficult than they need to be. That's the first. The second, I like the look of this finish. I like the tactility of it. I like the feel of it. And I like the fact that it's going to protect the knife from scratching easily. However, you're handling it a lot when you're disassembling it and reassembling it. Let's see if I can get you some good shots. So that chalkiness to it, what it's doing is it's taking the surface layer dead skin off of your fingers and embedding it into the finish of the titanium. So you're going to have some areas that are very light, maybe even almost white, depending on how dry your skin is. And then you're going to have some areas like this little dark splotch right here that remains dark. So it's not going to have a completely uniform finish until you go back over it and wipe it down. Let's see what happens if I just simply wipe it down and do nothing else. Because I want you guys to know without having any surprises. So if I just purely wipe it down, blow it off, okay, I'm not going to make a complaint about that. That was remarkably easy to clean. The other option I feared was I was going to have to put a little drop of oil on my finger and rub that into the titanium and then wipe that clean. Just simply wiping it down with a dry microfiber cloth is all you need. So I'm going to make a suggestion to Avian right now, and I do hope that they listen. Almost every knife manufacturer gives you a nice microfiber cloth. Here's one that comes with Devo knives, knives that sell for sometimes under $200. Include a microfiber cloth in your packaging, please, because that was frustrating until I realized, oh, all I got to do is wipe it down. No special care, no special cleaner, no oil, no WD-40, no nothing, just wiping it down. Now, there are microfiber cloths like this that are, the very smooth, slick ones. I don't think that's going to quite do it. This is almost like terry cloth. I don't know where Kevin gets these, but they're really, really great. It says innovative line on the back, if that helps. Or innovation line. Anyway, definitely include that because people are going to need it. Anyway, that is your introduction to the Avian Knives Atlas version 2.5. And I am super excited. This is going to go right in the pocket right now. I'm going to go have some fun. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next video. Oh, how funny. I just realized that the knife matches my watch. The whole black and gray theme. I dig that a lot. Now I know I have to carry it today.